Have you heard of loyalty turned into betrayal? Today we dive into the shocking murder of a 56-year-old farmer, Mr. Erin Oaga, a man who simply wanted to provide for his family but ended up being killed by the very people he trusted to work his land. This is not just a story of murder, it is a heartbreaking tale of greed, deception, and how 5 farm workers turned a peaceful village farm into the scene of a gruesome crime, all over a few bundles of pineapple cash. Let's take you deep into Igweze village in Edo State, Nigeria, where one man's simple hustle ended in the worst kind of tragedy.
Through technical intelligence, led to the arrest of Samuel Inyong, a 33-year-old from Akwa Ibom State, who was traced to his locality in Oron area, was arrested. And
Erin Oaga was a hard-working farmer. He was 56, not a politician, not a businessman with loud headlines, just a man who believed in his hands, in the soil, in farming, in feeding people. He owned a modest pineapple farm in Igweze village, located in Ovia North-East local government area of Edo State. If you ask locals, they will tell you he was calm, focused, the kind of man who didn't owe people, who woke up early and returned from the farm at sunset, that type of man. He wasn't rich, he wasn't poor, but he was consistent. That week, the week of May 13, 2025, Erin had just hit a small jackpot. He had sold a major harvest of pineapples for 900,000 naira. Now, in this economy, that is no small money, especially for a rural farmer. But it wasn't flashy, no new clothes, no loud celebration, just Erin and his plan to reinvest in the farm. Unfortunately for him, someone else was watching. Erin had 5 farm workers, young men, mostly locals and migrants. They helped with planting, clearing, harvesting, the usual stuff. But behind that teamwork, something was bubbling. They saw the 900,000 naira pineapple money and instantly something snapped. Well, I don't know if they think Erin would not notice. Did they believe 900,000 was worth a man's life, if I may ask? We may never know what they said to each other, but we know what they did. Police say the 5 workers cornered their boss on the farm, killed him and buried him in a shallow grave, right there on the very land he toiled on every day. Can you imagine that? To die on your own farm, not from accident or illness, but by the hands of your own workers. But the story didn't stop there. These 5 workers didn't just kill and flee. They tried to turn the whole tragedy into a very huge business. After killing Erin, they picked up a phone and called his family. According to the police, they claimed Erin had been kidnapped. They wanted a 60 million naira ransom. Yes, 60 million. How do you kill a man for 900k, then demand 60 million naira ransom from his family? Festus, the son of the deceased, was the one who received the shocking call, but his family didn't play along. They insisted on speaking with Erin directly. Smart move, because somewhere in their hearts, they probably already feared the worst. So the suspects dropped the ransom from 60 million naira to 300,000 naira. And once they got that money, they vanished. No more calls, no more negotiation, just silence.
After we give them money, then this same boy when they call me, so when they also still let me know, say, you go show me where my daddy dead body day. Then I can still send that money again. Even the first money we first send for, I believe in our lane we first send that for, but we not going to hear from the rest people. We call those other ones number, their number not.
Now, here is where the story takes a turn. A family didn't keep quiet. They alerted the anti-kidnapping squad of the Edo State Police Command, and from there, a manhunt began. The police tracked down one of the suspects, Basi Uyong Ume, all the way to a creek in Akwa Ibom State. Yes, from Edo to Akwa Ibom, that is over 300 kilometers away. He thought he had escaped, but the police were already on him. When he was caught, he didn't deny anything. Instead, he confessed and led detectives straight to the shallow grave where Erin Oaga had been buried. Can you imagine the pain of seeing a loved one's decomposing body dug out from a farm that used to be a place of life and harvest? That moment will stay with Festus and his family forever. So far, only one of the 5 suspects has been arrested. The others, they are still on the run. According to Festus, the deceased son, all their mobile phones have been switched off. They have scattered, likely trying to blend in across different regions, maybe even changing identities. But the police say the investigation is ongoing, and with modern tracking method, it is only a matter of time, because no matter how far they run, the guilt will follow them, and sooner or later justice usually catches up. Now let's pause. What kind of society are we becoming where workers kill their boss over a harvest? Where money now blinds young people so much that human life becomes disposable. 900,000 naira sound like a big amount, but divide it by 5. That is 180k each. Is 180k worth a life sentence in prison, or worse, a death sentence? And let's not forget the ransom call. That tells us this wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated. They had a plan. So ask yourself, how many of these kind of young men are moving among us? Festus, Erin's son, now carries a body no child should bear. He watched his father get declared missing, then dead, then dug up like garbage. There is no manual for that type of grief, but there is also something deeper, a fear, because this wasn't just a random robbery. This was betrayal from inside, the kind of betrayal that makes you wonder, who can I really trust again? Honestly, Erin Oaga should still be alive today. He should be on his farm right now, watering his crops, checking the soil, planning his next harvest. But instead, his life was stolen by those who were meant to assist him. This is more than a news report. It is a cautionary tale, a reminder to everyone, employers, workers, even ordinary citizens, that greed can rot the soul. So as we wait for the police to arrest the remaining suspect, let's remember Erin, let's demand justice, let's talk about the dangers lurking in silence, because sometimes the enemy is not a stranger, sometimes it is someone who already knows where you keep the keys. You have just heard the story of the Pineapple Farm murder. If this case moved you, share the story, let the world know that Erin's life matters. And if you have ever hired help or been trusted with someone else's resources, let this remind you, trust is powerful, but when abused, it can become deadly.
Thank you.